Hello, hello, everyone. This is Late Night with Travis Michelle. Oh my goodness, I'm like over here acting all brand new, like I don't know what I'm doing because it's been so long. Where have you guys been? Where have I been? What has been going on? It's 10 o'clock on Wednesday. Happy hump day. I love saying that. So I'm going to continue saying it always. But thank you so much for coming on. Make sure that you drop in the comments. I will acknowledge you. I want to put your comments up on the screen. I at least want to shout you out for coming on and just being a part of the show today. We had a emergency. My guest who was supposed to be there, and so I was like, no problem. The show must go on. You know how it is, right? One person doesn't stop it, and life happens. What do we say now? It's called lifing. Mm, well, that's what happens, and you have to decide how you're going to get through it. So I'm going to be looking at my phone. If you're wondering what I'm doing at the same time while I'm getting everything together in my life, trying to get it straight. So where have I been all these months? Yes. So I've been healing with my cervical cancer. I definitely can say for myself that post treatment has been much more challenging than treatment, and treatment was a witch and a half. Hello, I see the Ratchet Sage is on. So happy to see you. So happy you made it. Um, so it just, I had some unexpected just situations and events with it. Then I was like, oh, you know what? Even though I had cervical cancer stage 3, which there is no other stage except 4, which is, the terminal one. But God said I should live and not die. And I was like, I'm alive. I will be in Miami, as I like to say, for New Year's and for Christmas. So I drove there with me and my doggy, Steeler, my little toy poodle. Bless his heart. He's sitting over here looking crazy at me with his one eye. He has cataract. He's 13. And so I drove down there having a good time, like just felt so free, had an opportunity to dig my feet in the sand and just give praise and thanks for being alive and spend it with my youngest son, Khalik, who is also has been my caretaker consistently throughout my process here, my journey. Well, when I got back to New York, guess what I found out? My house was flooded. So it went to minus 12 in December. And during that time, I have a two family, my empty apartment, one of the pipes just decided to crack when I guess everything melted and my whole house has to be renovated. I mean, like the whole house, not a little bit, not the basement, not a section, not a room, the whole house. So you get back there. I got back rather on January 3rd and 2:30 in the afternoon. And at 6:30, I was living in a hotel. Stayed there for 3 weeks, contracted COVID, and then went to long-term apartment housing, right? Right. Nobody needs all of that. Nobody, as this Ratchet Sage says. So then I was like, okay, so we can get through this. We can keep going. It's all right. I got it. And then I wake up on a Friday morning and they say, oh, are you, Travis Michelle, can you come identify your father at the morgue? Yeah. So I can't make this up. Yes, it will go in a book, but that's how life has been happening. Every time I wanted to start something, it was something else. So that's why today we're talking about resilience and what it looks like. And it looks like me and it looks like you because you're still alive. You haven't given up. You wake up every day, even though you may not feel like it, even though you raggedy, right? Even though you may have an attitude, not have what you want the way you want it, be with who you want to be with, whatever your situation is. And the reason I talk about resilience is because I'm sick of people saying, oh my goodness, you're so strong. I'm not strong. Now, my strength comes from the Lord. Y'all know that I believe in God. That's like my rock, my foundation. I'm nothing without Him. But it's my resilience that keeps me going. Because when I feel like I can't go any further, I can still pick up and keep going. When I feel like I want to give up, and it's been so many days and situations and times that I was like, I'm done. Like, I don't know if I can do this. Going through chemo and radiation twice, and, I glow in the dark kind of thing. I don't know. I have no strength. Am I stuttering? I had all these things going on. And then you feel, okay, well, now we get to the next hump, and then something else happens. And then you have to sit back and say, why is this happening to me at this time? What is it that I'm not doing? As opposed to, woe is me. What is it that I'm not doing? I'm not paying attention to something. Well, sometimes you just need a rebirthing, you need a cleansing. And that's how I'm looking at it with my house. It's just a cleansing. And you keep going because now I get all new stuff because I have insurance. I got the good insurance, Liberty Mutual. Yeah, I'm saying it because they have been really good. And I think we talk about companies when they're bad. Well, we should say something when they're doing well. And then losing my dad was really hard. Not because he was like the wonderful father, but because of that little girl losing her king, her knight in shining armor. And that's how I choose to remember him. So it was tough, but I was fortunate that I have a good circle of people around me and I was able to get through it. I know we pray, absolutely. We got to pray, absolutely. But you still need other people because faith without action is dead. And the people that were in my life were allowed me to go through my process, but they had my back at all times. And I really, I so appreciate the fact that they had my back. And I had to tell them that. So, what are you doing in your life for resilience? How are you being resilient? What does the resilience look like to you? You might be going through that. In fact, I was on Clubhouse because, I'm on Clubhouse and it's a particular club I'm in often called Black Girls Talk by founder Shayla Washington and the visionary. And a young lady came on the stage this morning, for instance, and she doesn't normally come on the stage. She usually is in the audience. And she says, you know what? I just needed to hear what you guys were saying and share because I'm going through a divorce. And she has a daughter. And she was just saying that, and she's a therapist and everything, and she's a yoga instructor and all of that. So she knows all the tools. She knows what she's supposed to do. However, when you're going through it, it looks different. And we had a conversation, and I was sharing with her, but you're so resilient. And she had to leave with nothing. But it opened up a door for her parents again because of her marriage at the time. She was isolated from her family. And they said, look, you can come here. You have a home. And so she booked. She was like, I'm out. Because that's what she was waiting on because she wasn't working. She's at home mom and she didn't have the finances. But you know what? She didn't give up. So is she strong? I mean, I guess y'all want to keep saying that you can, but she's definitely resilient because she found a different way. And if she had not opened up to her family, to her mother and father, she would never have known that they were there for her. So being resilient is not also just getting up from falling down or whatever you're going through. It's a matter of being strong enough. There, I'll use that word for you because I know some of y'all are biting at the teeth for it. To say, hey, I need help. That I can see you're strong in doing that because you're really weak when you don't ask. When we try to be, Superman and Superwoman, you're not a village unto yourself. And like Ratchet Sage says, yeah, it's a cleansing, right? We have to have that restart. I was talking to a friend of mine and I was like, you know what? Just do a reset. That's it. Just like that's what we do. Do a reset. Sometimes we want to keep going and until the wheels fall off, right? But you don't need the wheels to fall off. You need to stop and breathe. You need to stop and take a breath. You have to lean in. And that's something that we don't do a lot of because we're taught to get over it, get past it, move on. Whether it's a divorce, it's losing a job, a health issue, move on. It'll be okay. Instead of like, let me feel it. Like, let me lean into it. Because when I lean into it and I feel it, then I can overcome it. I can really use those tools. But when you ignore it, it's going to come back and bite you in the butt no matter what. And, we don't all need to be bit in the butt all the time, just only when you want to be, you know what I'm saying? So, how are you being resilient in your life today? If you notice on my graphics, and I have on my blue today, because teal, my nails are teal. I know I went and got these, I had these tips put on. Haven't had tips in over 20 years because as a nurse, we don't do that. But I'm not working as a nurse right now because I'm still in my recovery stage. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to wear teal nails and wear all of my colors. But I'm saying that because we had a photo shoot. My son Khalid came up, and we are going to be in a magazine together, and it's at a boxing gym. So this was my top, and I have my gloves, and you saw that in the picture. I specifically put it and intentionally put it in my graphic because of showing resilience. Like, you may get knocked down, but you're knocked out. And okay, and sometimes it feels like we're knocked out, but you get up anyway. We may bend like a willow, but that willow, while it's bending, it doesn't die. It continues to grow, it continues to bud, and it just gets longer and longer. So when you think of that tree, that's okay. Bend with it because that's going to be life anyway. And it's so important that we learn to walk through it. Now, for those of you who don't know, yes, I have, and y'all look, there is no real structure tonight because I'm getting back into it. We're talking. So I'm looking at this since my guest had to cancel within a family emergency. I'm going to use this as a positive. I did go through where I was a little tight. My jaws were a little tight. Y'all know, I'm going to be honest about it. I was. And then I was like, wait a minute. This is the first show. This is like the relaunch. You really need to kind of know what's been going on. So that's what I'm doing. Hello, Michelle. Oh my goodness. Michelle she's one of my besties also, along with Ebony. And she's been in my corner from like day one of me being diagnosed with cervical cancer in 2021. And we were at the photo shoot together. So she is a breast cancer warrior. And so many opportunities are coming my way because of knowing her. And we have each other's backsides, fronts, top, bottom, all over the place. So I'm just so excited for her to be on with us tonight. But how do you walk this thing called resilience? Like, what does that feel like? Because we can put out a whole lot of words, everyone, right? Everybody can be so mature, and we have our degrees, and people have certain positions, and we're just rhetoric. We're just talking. But what does it really feel like? What does it really look like? So I have my book, Boss Up with Confidence, and it's on Amazon. Number one, when it went number one? During my third week of radiation and chemo, I published it. Yeah, that's resilience. If you don't know what that is about, because I don't even remember hitting the button. And I definitely don't remember going number one until I woke up like the next day because I was so tired after treatment. But I had that tight circle: Michelle, Tiffany, my daughter Sasha. Like, you said that you're going to publish and you want it done by the end of the year. So let's get it done. And I was like, y'all know I'm fighting cancer. I mean, that's literally how I felt. I was trying to be a little victim. I was trying to like be a baby about it. And they're like, no, you told us that no matter what you say, we're going to make sure you get it done. I wanted to punch them both in the throat, all of them. I did, but I was obedient and I pushed through anyway because they had me on all my sides, and I had done the work, and it got done, and it got published. And then I had someone who I really thought very highly of tell me, "Oh, you didn't do the marketing right. I don't know if it's going to go to number one." And I was like, it's not about number one for me. I really wanted to get out there. This method, the walk method, which I'm going to tell you about in a minute, is really important. And it's worked for me for years. So I know it's going to work for other people. And I've shared it with other people. I just didn't have the acronym, walk. And guess what? It did anyway. So you see, I'm saying that because you can have the wrong people in your circle and they will say negative things to you. They think they're helping you, but they're really not. Or they're giving you the backhanded slap. You know, I don't want to give you a backhanded slap. I'll just punch you straight in the throat, verbally, of course, not physically. But I'm just saying, in my mind's eye, that's what I'm doing. So when I'm silent and I just give you the look, or I clutch my necklace, I might be saving your life. But anyhow, so with this walk method that we have, the W stands for willing participant. When you're going through that period and being resilient, if if you don't decide that you want to live, if you don't decide that you want to make it, if you don't decide that no matter what it looks like, you're not giving up, it's going to be harder for you because it starts with you. It doesn't start with mama and them, Auntie Ann and them, and daddy and everybody else. It starts with you. But once you say, I want this, I'm going to do it, I don't know what it's going to look like, the process becomes so much easier. Even though you will have challenges, it becomes so much easier. And everyone knows that, right? The tail follows the head. That's what my grandma always said. Y'all know I tell you all about my grandma. She's from the South, so get over it. Alice and Clarence Presley. Anyway, so walking, being a willing participant, taking the time to say, y'all got to forgive me. I got to watch my mouth because since I've had chemo, my favorite word is the F word. So I don't want to say that on here. And I know that it's going out on YouTube and everywhere. But anywho, when you know that you effed up and you know that your stuff is skanky, ashy, raggedy, you can do something about it. So then we have the A, that's the action steps, right? So the action steps are maybe I need to go to therapy. I need to prune people from my life. And pruning people from your life doesn't mean that you have to go up and say, oh, I don't want you in my life anymore. If you ignore them, you'll realize sometimes that you were the one that was doing all of the communicating. You were the one running behind them. So it makes it a lot easier. And you know what? You can just block people. That's what they have it for. You can ignore them. Yeah, you can. That's what you need to do. Oh, I'm going to lose weight. Well, that means you have to find the place, go to your doctor first, and make sure that you're healthy enough to do it and what your restrictions are. Find a gym at home, Peloton, whatever it is. I had to do that. I'm putting myself through the walk method now because I have to rebuild my body. But first, I had to get it up here that I could do it. So people look at me like, oh my gosh, you look so good and everything. And they don't realize how weak I am. And I'm sick and tired of that. It's like, okay, let's get to the next level. So I had to start with the W. The A, I'm now doing the bar method, which is Pilates, yoga, and ballet. It looks easy, low impact to no impact, and it ain't. But I will tell you this, I will have a fabulous spring and summer body, okay? I'm gonna be fine. I'm just saying. But I'm gonna feel good about myself. But I had to take the action steps. I had to find that. I had to find what I could do within my limitations right now physically that would help me and not hurt me. And I want to do more than that, but I can't. So you have to know your limitations. If you're trying to quit smoking, then, take one cigarette at a time. Don't try to throw the whole pack down. Or if you're doing half a pack, take one or two cigarettes. And then the next thing, then you take two or three more cigarettes. But the thing is, act, do something, get up off your behind. Then we have the L. What is that L? The L is love yourself. That's another one of those rhetoric things. Oh my goodness, I'm going to love myself. And everybody's telling you about self love. What the hell does that mean? I don't know what that looks like. I never loved myself. Nobody ever told me I was beautiful. Nobody ever told me that, I could be successful. What if that's you? But we're telling you to love yourself. And then some people have been shown love that was very negative or been in abusive relationships. And they think that, well, the man doesn't love me unless he's, cursing me out or hitting me or cheating on me, or female. I'm not saying it's just one way. Gender doesn't matter. Or your parents didn't tell you that you were smart, or, that you could be successful, or they're using you, whatever that is, right? But this way, when you love yourself, and we're going to be very clear and very plain about it, one is forgiving yourself. Let that sink in for a minute. Forgiving yourself. Y'all know I'm in church. I've grown up in the church and all of that. And we're taught, oh my gosh, forgive everybody. The doorknob, the usher, the person down the street, everybody. But very rarely do we spend any time saying forgive yourself. So while I'm forgiving you, I'm still holding anger. I'm still like upset about stuff because I haven't forgiven myself. I throw myself under the bus and use myself as an example all the time because I can do that. For instance, going through my divorce, I had to, yes, there were things that happened in it, but I had to take responsibility for the role I played because yeah, I have a mouth and I may not have done the cheating. And yes, I know you're going to say, oh my goodness, he's going to know about it. It's in a book already. So, you know, saving lives or fighting for mine. I didn't get to that yet. So it's already in there. It's okay. But I didn't do that part. But there were other things that I did that wasn't healthy in the relationship. So I had to forgive myself for that. I had to forgive myself for staying as long as I did. I had to forgive myself for not reading the flags and the signs. But once I did that, it led me to the next level of loving myself, which was freedom. Because then, you know what? It opened me up to forgive him instead of we can go through a whole lot regardless of your gender when you're going through a divorce. And it's very, people have their feelings and I'm not judging that. That's not the point. How are you getting through it? That resilience part. See, y'all, we're putting this all together. So first, you're forgiving yourself. That's part of that loving yourself. But once you do that, then it leads you to freedom. And when you have freedom, you can walk through the process. That's the redemption. You walking through the process now. Whatever, dog, that's on you. Because I'm good now. And I'm going through therapy, or I am in a healthy place, right? With the right people around me. Because those friends you had that you thought were your friends, and you found out, in my case, that they were on his side, and you're like, what? Yeah, all that stuff happens. But because I forgave me, because I'm the one that's most important, I was able to move past that. Hi, Brenda. Thank you so much for popping in. And I see you, Maka. Thank you. So it allowed me to then, years later, when he came back and he apologized to me, I was open to it because it wasn't about him anymore. I was shocked because I really thought he was going to argue with me about something. I was already had it set up in my mind. Oh my goodness, what's he going to talk about now? And he says, you know what? I apologize for what I did to you in the marriage, and you're a good mom, and you were a good wife. I didn't expect that. But because I kept my integrity, regardless of what else was going on, and I forgave myself, I did the work. No one else did the work for me. I was able to accept his apology. And that's why now we're thicker than thieves, because I'm good with it. Like, okay, if you can come and apologize to me, who am I not to accept it? Because that's taking time away from me. That's meaning that I still have given them the power. And I refuse to give anybody else my power. So now we get to the K. This is the fun part. That's where you kick butt unapologetically. I give zero F's about a whole lot of things in life because life goes on. We're lifing and we don't have control over it. And I can't sit back and, oh my goodness, what happened before, and forgive myself for that. And, I did the work. So let's move on to the next thing, because there's going to be a next thing in our life always. So that's why I have this journal out, because you can write it down. And some people may be at the willing participant, just at the W. Some people may be already working through the love yourself. Some people may be in the action steps. But wherever you are, we need to write it down. And it has some quotes that I'm going to read. Let's see. Walk with swag, swaying your hips, head held high, and crown in place. Look in the mirror and say, and I'm going to use my name and you use yours, Travis Michelle, boss up with confidence. That's me. Now, some of that came from Phenomenal Woman, because y'all, if you heard that, right? But we have to walk with our head held high in the midst of what we're going through. That's that resilience. everything I'm talking about right now, the examples that I'm giving you, it's really resilience. It's not strength, because I wasn't strong. I wasn't strong going through a divorce. I was weak. I wasn't, but I was resilient. And sometimes I wasn't resilient because of myself. I was resilient because of my children, because I had to set an example for them, because I had to make sure that no matter what was going on, I tried to keep them in the forefront. And I'm just using divorce as an example because of the young lady that was on the stage today. And someone reminded me that I do have a group over on Facebook. Yeah, Black women going through divorce and with different resources. But that's just one example. We have many examples. You may have lost a child and you need to forgive yourself because your body isn't holding on to it, and what's wrong with you. And that just is the way God has it intended it, right? So we have to learn to do that. Exactly. Resilience over strength. Absolutely. And that's what I want us to walk away from. One of the things tonight, resilience over strength. Thank you for putting it that way. That's the ratchet sage. Let me tell you something. She gives you so much clarity. And I love the fact that we could jump on the phone and I'm like, I'm not sure. And she can listen to me. And I mean, everything becomes just really clear. And we do that for each other. See, that's having the right circle. I'm just saying, you got to have the right circle. It's so funny in 2020, during the midst of COVID, who would have thought, while we were all quarantined around the world, someone asked me to be in an anthology. And I was like, what's that? And they were like, no, I want you to write a chapter. And I was like, me? I said yes without thinking. I really did. I was all caught up in it. And then I was like, what the heck did you say yes to? And look at the title, Saving Lives While Fighting for Mine. And being a registered nurse by profession, I was like, great, that's a great title. And then I was like, what am I going to write about? Because there's so many different things that's happened in my life. And I decided to write on divorce because I was going to be the divorce strategist. And y'all go look back at my old videos and everything and my posts. I was the divorce strategist because a lot of people wanted to know how I was able to still smile and be healthy having gone through a divorce. And so I was like, okay, well, I shared my story in it. And then I got scared because I shared some things that my children didn't know about. And I was like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen? Yes, okay. I know my former husband would read it, but it was my babies. And, but the thing is, what I went through, my experience, my journey, y'all don't want my journey. I'm just saying, you don't want my journey. But my testimony is for other people and it's to help other people. So it's bigger than me. So I can't hold it in. And that's for me. It doesn't mean you have to do that, but that's my calling. That's my purpose. That's what I'm supposed to be doing. So then move over a year later, 2021, and I literally have been fighting for my life when I was diagnosed with cervical cancer, stage 3B. And I didn't tell my family and friends it was advanced because I didn't feel they needed to know that part, because I didn't need anybody in my ear or around me with that negativity, because they heard death, but I heard the curable part. And that's the part I had to hang on to. And that helped me to be resilient because I had to find that part. You have to find that sentence, that word, that feeling, that thing that is going to keep you going. And it doesn't have to matter or be what other people say it is. I held on to that word, curable. And then my team said, we're going to fight this aggressively. Now, as a registered nurse, I know what aggressive means. I've worked with cancer patients, worked from birth all the way to death. Definitely got it. But going through it, what? So resilience is not, it's not always easy, right? It's challenging. That's why it's called resilience. What are you going to do to stay on that road? What are you going to do? You know, I had choices. I could have said, you know what? Woe is me. and make it harder on myself, because your body does follow your head. And that's scientific. You can look it up, it's evidence based. Your thoughts are really important, and the words you tell yourself are important. The words, and they're powerful. So I had to say, look, what route am I going to take? I had to sit back. I had to do the walk method again. Look at that. I had to be a willing participant. I had to lean into my feelings and say, okay, so how are you going to go? Which way? How are you going to show up? What are you going to do? And I said, I'm going to fight. But I didn't fight for Sasha, my daughter. I didn't fight for Khalik, my son. I didn't fight for Akil, my other son. I didn't fight for mama and them, auntie and them, my friends, none of them. I only fought for me. And I can share with you that this is the first time in my entire life that I did something solely for myself. Because I'm Travis Michelle, reforming people pleaser. I like to see other people happy. I will do whatever. I will be uncomfortable just because I want to see you happy. And that's in friendships, that's in relationships, that was at work, that was for everything in my life. This diagnosis, I was like, F all y'all. Literally, I'm doing this for me. And that's pretty much my attitude moving forward. So it's not that I'm new, I'm improved. So those tools that I've learned, I had to use the walk method over and over and over. My father passed. I had to be a willing participant. My dad died. Yeah, I knew he passed, but I had to go and see him identify his body. But then I had to love myself. Why? Because my father wasn't that father that was loving. I'm his only child, but he didn't love on me. He loved on another woman's children who he raised. Came to me only when he needed me. And I was that people pleaser. I was there. But I had to forgive myself. I had to forgive myself for allowing him to run over me. I had to forgive myself for my feelings that I had towards him so that I could grow, so that I could do better, right? Because it wasn't about him. It wasn't about anybody else. So I had to put myself through that walk method. And then I was able to I was leaned into my feelings and kick butt unapologetically. And that's why I can be on here and really talk about it. Maka, you said that is resilient. Yes, thank you. I told y'all I love shouting people out because I think it's so important, and everybody has value. Even if we think they don't, they do have value, and there are lessons to be learned. I'm going to read here what Ebony said. It's the I'm doing this for me. And she laughed. If you're struggling with how to be about that life. Travis Michelle got you. See, I didn't read that ahead of time. I wouldn't have necessarily put that up there. But anywho, thank you so much. That's my girl. She got my back. Thank you. I really, I appreciate that, because other women, especially Black women, yes, other women, but especially Black women, we need to know that we don't have to be strong. I don't. And I'm not weak, right? But I'm resilient. And I have to be able to reach out to other Black women and other women and our Black men as well. Like, we're not an island unto ourselves. And I always acknowledge our Black men, because that's just how my grandparents raised me. And I saw a positive role model in my grandparents, being raised by them most of my life. That's who I count for the person that you see today, my grandparents, Alice and Clarence Presley. So I say their name all the time because they're always alive in my heart. But I saw examples of strong Black men that could cry, not often or anything, but also seeing a Black woman saying, babe, you're going to be okay. I got your back. Because for example, another part of this resilience and my seeing it, my grandfather worked for what is now Amtrak, but it used to be B&O. And he's very fair. He could pass for white, but he didn't. So he was allowed to work inside the train. Yeah, I think that's about nothing. But anywho, he had to listen to white men call us the N-word and everything, and he couldn't defend his people. He couldn't defend other men because they thought he was white. So they were freely talking all of this stuff and everything. And he would come home and he would be so angry. And my grandmother didn't like, why are you angry and whatever? No, She didn't do that. She made sure that she supported him and she got him ready to go back out there again so that he would be resilient. You see what I mean? So that circle, and I think it's important as Black women and Black men and Black children that we talk about and spend more time and give more attention to our couples, our grandparents, and our couples that we have now who are supporting each other. And it's not robbery. Y'all know I'm in church, but anyway, it's not robbery that we can go up and say, "Hey, you know what, Queen? I like your outfit," and or you see that maybe she's down and say, "You know what? If you need someone to talk to, I'm here for you." You don't have to. She doesn't have to even tell you that, but just saying it makes a difference because we don't know what someone else is going through, and you don't know what may come out of it. I'm just saying, y'all. You don't know what may come out of it. You might have a friendship. You might have a relationship. You might have a job opportunity because you, in believing in yourself, taking that chance to reach out. And it's not easy. I talk about it, but it's not the easiest thing to do to always reach out and to be vulnerable. I've learned to do it and I'm comfortable doing it. I share because my process and my purpose is to help other people. Being a speaker, going on stages, lighting up these stages, I can't sit back and like you. Who wants to listen to somebody who hasn't been through something? Although we do. Who wants to really learn from someone if you haven't been through something? Like that's who you should be sitting at the feet of. That's what I do. And a lot of my wisdom and knowledge, it's not because, oh my goodness, I'm just so smart and educated. It's because I've had those strong men and women in their beliefs. Not that they were strong, but their belief systems. And they were able to share their resiliency and they were able to share their stories. And then I was listening because I was a willing participant. So everything walks back to my walk method. Yay. I know I was supposed to, Ebony is going to hurt me because I was supposed to have my link ready. But with everything going on, I kind of like messed that up. So you can go on Amazon and look for Boss Up with Confidence, Travis Michelle, and it'll pop up and you can purchase that for yourself or for a loved one. I'm just excited to be on here with you tonight. I did want to come on and just kind of catch you all up. And I think I'm kind of almost caught up. I will tell you a little secret though. So remember I was saying you never know when an opportunity will arise, and I'm not going to, give any identifying things. However, I had to go to a store. I won't mention the store or anything because, like I said, I ain't going to identify it. And I had to take care of some business. And it was a young man, a Black man. And I looked up and I was like, oh my God, he's the owner? And I was, so you know what? I was like, yeah, I was feeling myself too. I admit it, I was. And I was like, I'm just going to say to him that I'm proud of him because I just didn't expect that when I looked up at the sign. Not that I was expecting anything, but that was a pleasant surprise. So I did that. And y'all gonna laugh at me, but those who know me know that's how I am. And I was like, I ain't trying to come on to you or nothing. I just wanted to tell you that I'm proud of you. And I think that as women, Black women, we should say and support our Black men. That was it. Who you laughing at me, Maka? Whatever. But I did that, and that was all that was in my mind. So that happened. We had a great conversation. Still, nothing is in my head. I'm like spaced out. I was just like, oh my goodness, it's so nice. This is so great. Ha 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 ha. And so I did ask them to be a guest on my show because I thought I was ready to start my show again. I wasn't, but I have to make sure I have guests lined up and opportunities and stuff. So that's all I was thinking about. And I gave them my business card and I left, and that was that. So before I went to go to Florida, a month later, I went back in the store because I had to take care of some other business. And I was like, oh, hey. And they were like right in my face and said, so, hello, but your business card doesn't have your number on it. Like, how was I supposed to contact you? And I had to, it took everything in me. I don't even think they really know. It took everything in me to shut my mouth. because in my head, I had already gone totally left and off. But I was very nice and was like, oh, okay, I'll give you my number. And I went up to the desk to handle my business. But I was like going out, I was cursing him out. Like, I ain't trying to talk to you. I told you that already. You don't need my number. I mean, I was going all in, the neck rolling and everything, but in my head. And I did give them my number, and he was very consistent. All of that to say that now we're dating. I'm sharing that if I had not been open, if I had not done work on myself, I would not have been available, because I didn't think I was available anyway, but they were very slick. I'm just saying. But it worked out. But I had to take a chance. I had to be in that space, mindset shifting, where I'm open. So I'm saying that to our ladies and to our men, because we're going to have men on here looking and commenting too. Don't shut yourself off. But when opportunities approach you, be open to it. Like, you know, like for me, that was a biggie. Look at Ebony talking about okay now. Whatever. Y'all know we have good times up in here. I am going to be wrapping up. Thank you for coming on. Next week, guess who we're going to have on here? Da-da-da-da. We are going to have Ebony L. Green, the Ratchet Sage. Okay. Yes, I am so, so excited to have her on here. We're going to have a good time because we can go at it, like chop it up. We are going to be chopping it up over here. You are going to be learning not just about her, but what she does and in her clarity. Oh my goodness. You want clarity? This is the person you need to speak with for sure. And she's just down to earth and herself all the time, never changing. And not that I'm a strong personality, but I'm a strong personality. And she is as well, but we mesh so well together. And when she said she would be a guest next week, I was just so excited. So we will be here every Wednesday, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Hump Day. Because y'all, I'm not that. I shouldn't be in the morning. I don't need that because my mouth. Like I said, I have a mouth, and we're going to talk about topics and raise topics and subjects that maybe not suited for daytime. So I was supposed to show you my, let's see, this is my glass. This is from my grandparents. This is like the original. Y'all go in the streets now and you're paying a whole lot of money for them. This is like an original from the 1940s, I think. Anyway, I have my lemonade because that's what we do on here. We have our beverage of choice. Y'all be in your bonnet, your pajamas, whatever. Put them chilling to bed because next week it's going to be on and pop in. And we want you to have comments in the comment section. Let's engage. And I want you to enjoy your week. Make sure you're making yourself a priority before them chilling, before that man, that boo, that partner, husband, whatever, before the dog, before the job. Make yourself a priority, because when you do that, then you can really give to your family members, your boo thing, whatever you want to call your job. And don't pour from an empty cup. Mm-mm. You need to fill yourself up and let everybody else get the overflow, right? Let that. But if you're empty, you can't help them. So fill your cup up between now and next Wednesday. Go ahead and grab your copy of Boss Up with Confidence on Amazon and let everybody else watch you walk in your glory, head held high, crown adjusted. Okay, so it may be hanging off. So what? At least you have a crown on your head. Walk in your resilience. Know that every day is a new day and it's a new opportunity for a new opportunity. Well, I am about to go. This is Travis Michelle. We'll see you next Wednesday. Y'all know how it go. I'm too much for some, not enough for others, but guess what? I'm always just right for me. Have an awesome evening.